Welcome to Promo Insiders, the ASI media podcast that covers the topics that matter most to the promotional products industry. I am CJ Mitica, and today we're talking rebrands. Why do companies decide to rebrand? What's the process, and how do they choose their new names? To answer those questions, I'm joined by Sherry Hoffman of Dryvve, a distributor based in Massachusetts, and Victoria Newton-Dunn and Sylvain Faber of Bold Promo, Supplier based in Miami. They'll take us through their own recent rebranding experiences and share the tips and lessons they learned along the way. So I'm really excited for this conversation today. I find the idea of rebranding a very exciting, creative experience. We cover this at ASI Media and ASI Central, companies with their rebrands. And when we've done things internally at ASI and the idea of coming up with a creative new name for a product or a service or something like that, I just feel very rewarding. And thankfully, we have a pair of companies here who went through their own rebranding experiences recently, I think in the past year plus, and will be able to share their insights and how they did it and all that good information. So I'm going to start off with with our first question, and I'm going to direct this to Sylvain and Victoria. You all had rebrand your company, change the name from Advertising to Bold Promo, and this was about, I think, in early 2024, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So,
yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your company and why you decided to rebrand?
Sure. Well, hi CJ, thank you for having us. The company, we founded the company like 10, 12 years ago, and it was a very niche market company. We specialized in sunglasses, and obviously during all those years we developed the most we could this very specific product. But at some point, when you want to reach new markets and get new leads, new customers, just basically develop the company, you need to increase your product offering, right? And so we just had to add some product that goes with the sunglasses. I mean, at least what we thought will go with sunglasses. So we just basically surveyed our customers.
Yep, we surveyed our customers, and we've always been big on full color on sunglasses. So it made sense actually that what came back was apparel and t-shirts in general. So we decided to add DTG printing. And it actually took off. A lot of distributors loved the service, kept asking for more. They wanted contract decoration. And so we kept adding more decoration methods. Eventually, the name Advertising, which is specifically for sunglasses, just didn't fit anymore. So we had, people were thinking of us as a sunglasses company and not apparel decoration anymore. So that's when we knew it was time for a name change.
Great. And we're going to dive in the course of this conversation. We're going to dive into how everybody went about the rebranding process and how they chose their new names. Sherry, I want to ask the same question about you. So I know that Dryvve is the result of a merger of a pair of companies. So can you share a little bit of background in terms of what led to the name change and the new company name?
Absolutely. Thank you. So back in 2021, Consolidated Marketing Services, or CMS for short, acquired Progressive Promotions, and that created one of the largest certified women-owned branded merchandise agencies in the United States. So through that corporate merger, after 3 years of unprecedented success, the two companies decided to come together under the leadership of our president, Charlene Smotrich. And we knew we needed a brand reflecting who we are today, but also where we're going. Our services are now louder, they're clearer, they're more intentional. We're not just a promotional products distributor. We've evolved into a full service e-com integration. We have pick and pack, graphic design, fulfillment, and all things strategic branded merchandise. And our culture is to integrate branded merchandise into our clients' marketing culture. So we wanted to come to market with a new identity that would make our clients still feel comfortable knowing they were still working with the heart of our company. But we wanted to maintain that high level of personality, service, and creativity that our clients were used to. And we knew that a successful rebrand would promote trust, optimism, and actually a sense of opportunity to get messaging out there for our clients. We wanted to inspire them as well.
Great. And so, Sherry, I want to stay with you. So it makes total sense, right? You know, a pair of companies come together. You wanted to take a sort of a new outlook, present a new image. So how did you and your companies initiate that rebranding process? What did you do?
We did it in phases. We started with a rebrand committee of team members, cross collaborating across the organization. We had everyone from sales, marketing, graphic design, IT, corporate leadership, and we included consultation with a marketing firm called Fullerton Strategies based in New York. And we began the process by asking ourselves some really introspective questions. We just knew we wanted to start with a new robust identity, but we wanted to reevaluate our core values, confirm our target markets, and make sure we were headed in the right direction. So one of the things we did, and I'll go deeper into this as we converse, but we launched a fresh website to showcase our work and our capabilities, and we developed new marketing collateral, like apparel, drinkware, and other accessories. And we also chose a new logo, which we'll talk about. Our visual identity obviously changed, our color palette, our typography, and we just wanted to come to market with an impactful brand representation and talk about the personal touch that Dryvve brings to every project that we do.
So that idea of a committee, I think, is very compelling in bringing in different cohorts, different departments. Just what did that enable you to do? Like how did having all these different opinions, like what came out of that you learned going through that rebranding process?
It's similar to any brainstorming session that you start. I think we all started with a brain dump. Where do you see the company now? Where do you see us going? How do you feel about what we're doing? And we kind of just took all of that and molded it together into what we thought would create this, final pristine corporate image that again served our clients in the way that they were used to, but also represented all of the new capabilities that we were bringing to market.
Okay, great. So Victoria and Sylvan, the same question for you. How did you initiate this rebranding process? I know you talked about the fact that you had added new items and a new printing process. Obviously, your company was expanding into different product categories. But what led you to finally decide, we need to look into rebranding ourselves to better reflect what we do?
Sure.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to continue about the acquisition you guys had, because that's something we had to clarify during the first year of the rebrand, because a lot of people thought we were acquired by a company called Bold Promo.
Really?
So we had to explain everybody that it was an intentional change to reflect our new product offering, the new direction we want the company to aim to, and so it was kind of a little bit funny for us to have to keep explaining that. Regarding of the rebrand, I mean, I have an advertising background, so we did it a little bit more internally. We didn't. Yeah, we didn't have such a committee, or I guess the committee is both of us. The committee is in front of you.
Sure.
And I mean, we wanted to make sure to have all the social available. We wanted to make sure that to have all the website available. We wanted to make sure that no other supplier or distributor have the same name in the industry. So I used a little bit AI to help with this search and to narrow it down to a short list. We didn't want more than 5 or 6 letters, so that was also a big criteria for us. And then we just started to brainstorm together and just throw name.
Separate lists too, and
yes, we built
the list together.
You want to explain your process?
No, it's just we on our own, we separately had a list of names, short names. We want to keep it short and efficient, so we wanted something straight to the point. And we just made a list separately and then combined the list and went over everything. since you're visual, you also created little logos type, at least fonts and colors to see how
I
it would
wanted
look.
to see the impact, the visual impact of whatever option that was on the table right away, to be able to discard immediately what
Some that didn't look good visually also.
wasn't impactful enough, what wasn't bold enough.
So you said you wanted that short name. Obviously, there's a visual component to it. Were there other qualities that you had in mind that you knew that you wanted to convey when going through this process?
Yeah, I mean, bold. We want. I mean, we did. No, I mean, that's right.
It's a statement.
That's a statement. We didn't know it before finding the name, but we wanted to be bold. We wanted to be bolder, to look bolder. That's why our first tagline was advertising is getting bolder, because it was all about that.
Nice.
I mean, when you search, when you find it, you know it right away. Okay, that's the one.
That's
And
exactly what happened.
It's exactly what it happened. Yeah.
I was
When you
about to ask,
get
Victoria, did you feel the same way when? Well, actually, I should ask who came up with whose list had the bold promo on it?
Good question.
I don't know.
I'm not sure how it came to, in the end. We went through a lot.
CJ, we are a couple, right? So happy wife, happy life. So it's her.
Don't worry.
Honestly, I don't know.
I'm not
When
sure.
my wife and I were coming up with baby names, we both had our list. We combined them together, and my wife promptly ignored all my suggestions and went with hers. So I totally understand the process.
What I can tell, I remember that we were pretty amazed that such a great
It's available.
name was available.
Yeah.
Because you also have to register the company. You have to make an official name change with the states. You need all the Instagram, the Facebook, the TikTok, whatever you need, the .com, the
The
.net,
website,
the .org, just to protect yourself with and without the dash between the words, between bold and promo, and everything was available. So it was meant to be.
And how long did it take you from the idea of, hey, we wanted to change the name to finally settling upon bold promo?
But first, we wanted to change name for a few years, I think, honestly,
Yeah.
because advertising was too niche, and we lost you. Okay, we always wanted to expand the company and the product offering. So, but it become absolutely needed when sunglasses was maybe only half of the catalog. At this point, you have to change. So then we started the process. I think it was October, November, and it took maybe a month and a half.
We did the official launch at early January.
Yes, and when we decided to launch it officially at the PPI Expo in Vegas, obviously.
Okay, great. So Sherry, with Dryvve, how did that committee, the people involved, how did that name come about?
The genesis of the name actually came from a client, and I'll get to that, because finding the right name was a process. Again, we did the brain dump, we did the brainstorming. We were looking for something that was fresh and dynamic and forward thinking, and we wanted something that spoke to action. And Dryvve, you're moving, you're going forward. So with Dryvve, the spelling Dryvve, that stood out to us because it speaks to movement and progress, but it's also got a unique spelling, which gives it that modern edge while still being recognizable. And while Dryvve represents action, and it was the perfect name. The name Dryvve had actually floated around our organization for a while. We had built an online portal as an e-commerce solution for a client. And some of the feedback that came back was, the tool you built is the engine that drives our field marketing. Mm-hmm. And we thought, Dryvve. It just resonated, and we knew that was going to be our new identity.
Nice. Yeah, I definitely see commonalities here with Dryvve and with bold promo, just in terms of the action that's conveyed from it, right? It's very declarative. It's very simple. So I think I definitely see it in both of your companies. And Sherry, in the case with Dryvve, you already mentioned it. The spelling is very unique. And actually, in preparation for this podcast, a few times I had to keep double checking myself. Wait, are there two V's or two Y's?
Yes.
I had to make sure. But it is a very unique spelling, and not one that's, like, I think, super intuitive. So like, when you were coming up with the name and in the spelling, like what thought went into that, and how might that play out?
We just knew we wanted it to create an impact. We knew we wanted people to look at it and maybe look a second time. You know, we knew we were keeping our brand, the heart of our brand intact, but we knew, you know, we just wanted to have that striking impact and make people really look at the word and say, okay, what are they doing? What does this mean? And what's the story behind it?
That's great. And this gets to my next question, and it's something that I think you've mentioned already, which is that the fact that rebrand isn't just a name change. There's more that goes into it in terms of corporate image and the thing that you're trying to convey. And I know you mentioned, Sherry, that Dryvve is not just a promotional product company, that there are other things that you do. So how did Dryvve sort of lean into the full suite of services that the company offers?
Most importantly, we maintained open communication with our clients and our partners. You know, I always say strong branding doesn't necessarily mean new. You know, branding is like a birthday cake. It has, you know, the logo is the icing, but there's so many layers, you know, within that cake. So maintaining our core strengths as an organization and delivering white glove service to our clients, that has never wavered. And that's really important when I talk to people about rebranding, because your brand is more your identity, what people think about you when you're not in the room, what kind of emotions does your brand evoke when people are talking about it. So I always say, don't just focus on the name, focus on the story behind it. You know, again, I'll repeat myself, your brand, it's more than just a logo. It's everything that gets experienced when people associate with your company.
And were there specifics that you change or the company changed as a part of the rebrand beyond just the name?
In terms of, can you give me an example? Like, we updated all of our collateral and things like that.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's a little different in your
I
case.
can give you an input, CJ, if I can.
Yeah, sure.
As the owner of the company that we launched 10, 12 years ago, at some point, I won't say you get bored. Obviously, you still go and you do your thing, and you love your company, you love your job, you love the industry. But at some point, maybe the day-to-day, they all look the same, you know, right? And with the new branding comes a new fresh start, a new dynamic, and you want to go and go back and, you know, and make a splash again with the new brand. And so in a way, it gives you more energy, and so I mean, for us and through all the employees, it was kind of the same. It's a new beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
I definitely get that. And
it was interesting to witness that.
And I guess that, Sherry, was that with Dryvve when that rebrand was unveiled? Like, what was the feeling among the employees?
There was such a renewed energy. It was like promo energy amplified. We were so excited to showcase not only the new name and the new look, but all of the capabilities that came behind that. I mean, we were so excited to showcase our new e-commerce integrations. Our stores are dynamic, and we have in-house IT. We don't outsource that. So we were coming to market with new capabilities. And that was what I think drove the internal excitement. And we made sure that everyone was aligned with that new messaging. And our employees really, I think it invigorated them and kind of, you know, woke us up and said, okay, now we have so much more to do and so much to accomplish, but in a great, fun way.
Great. So Victoria and Sylvan, was it like a chicken or egg scenario? I guess, did you add the products and then come up with and then have the name to reflect that? Or after changing the name, did you continue adding new things to the company because you were sort of freed from that advertising sort of like the niche that you were sort of, you know, pigeonholed into?
A bit of both. I think, as we said, first, the addition of new products made the name change a need. But then you're right. Since we free up ourselves from the
restriction
of the name of advertising. You're right. And also, since we went from such a long name to such a shorter one, and maybe it's the same with Dryvve, we renamed most of our business unit with Bold something, Bold Promo, Bold Store, Bold Deco, Bold. So it's also interesting marketing-wise, and that we can now manipulate this brand and make some new sub brands, I would say.
And how did you like market and promote this name change?
You wanna?
Yeah, I mean, that's clearly work in progress, even after a year and a few months.
Oh yes.
Some people didn't, still don't know that we changed our names. We still get POs addressed to advertising.
Yeah, we still get checks mailed to
our old address. Yeah,
we moved 10 years ago, so
yeah. I mean, this still happens. So it's definitely a long process, and it will be, and people need time.
But we took advantage of the PPI Expo trade show to get all this media coverage and get as most as PR as possible.
Well, we came in with the big industry trade show that January, which worked well, with a new bold, new yellow booth as well. We sent press releases out to all the industry players. And then we sent some email blasts to our database, obviously social media. We added the formerly advertising on all the signage and email signatures. So we left that there. And, we reached out to all our distributor vendor relations as well, personally. That's more of the admin work of like W-9s. And, there's all of this part that's not as fun, but that still needs to be done. You have to provide all the new company information and LLC information and things like that. And then we also kept both names on all the search engines. So if you look on ASI right now, we still have Bold Promo and advertising both there. So it's easier for people to find us. So if they type advertising, we're still there. And it still is to, a year and 4 months later.
And we made advertising our sunglasses product line officially the official name. So even if it's not front on the website or on the listings, at least there is some SEO juice still in there.
Okay, great. And I know you mentioned there's a little bit of confusion because some people didn't realize that you changed your name. They thought they were bought out. But for the other customers, recognizing that new name, was there excitement? Was there intrigue? How did it play out with your loyal customers?
A lot of people loved it.
The reception was great.
Yeah. Everybody loved it. Obviously, there was a whole thing about, did Bold Promo purchase advertising? Acquire advertising. There's so many companies acquiring others in this industry recently, right. So it's something that's a common question.
It's most common than rebranding, actually.
Yeah, it is more common than
consolidation happens more often than the rebrand.
Yes.
But no, so when we did have to make sure the word was out that it was exactly the same company, same great services, same everything, just the name change to reflect more of the product offering. So that was just ongoing information just to make sure they would know, our customers would know that. But everybody loved it. It was, they all thought, of course, we do more products now. It makes total sense to evolve to a new name because a lot of them already knew that we were doing not only sunglasses, but apparel decoration and free online stores for distributors and things like this. So it made just sense. And they all said, of course, totally understand. And they all enjoyed it. So, and it's easy to remember and to, memorize, even just for a website like boldpromo.com versus.
That's right. I mean, advertising wasn't the easiest word to remember. It's all started as almost as a joke. And so.
I mean, it's a great name, but sometimes we have still advertising. People were sometimes a little confused. So
it was
promo is straight to the point.
It was time.
It was time.
It reminds me of bands who pick their names when they're 16 years old because they just need something funny or something silly, right? And they go to be massive, huge hits, and they're stuck with that name for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started as a startup. It was very,
Sherry, so in Dryvve's case, so you got the name right. How did you promote this to your customers into the industry?
We took a phased approach to the announcement. We wanted to kind of drip it out there. We started with teasers on social media, including a 5-day countdown clock on LinkedIn. And we had a press release prepared, and we made sure that our website was pristine. And if anyone happened to glimpse the URL before our launch date, which was January 22nd, 2024, they were met with a countdown clock. So we were creating this anticipation. We also prepared, the announcement in our monthly newsletter with a link to the press release. We ensured all of our, of course, employees were aligned with the new direction. But the best part of our, the way we announced this was our smash cakes. And I have
Oh
to
yeah,
tell
this was amazing. Yes, it was.
this was an award-winning self-promotion that we used to create an integral announcement that we could incorporate and engage our clients with and make them feel super excited. So we knew we wanted to go beyond surprise and delight. We wanted that excitement to permeate. And so I just have to give credit to Erica Smotrich. She's our director of merchandising. And she dreamed up this concept, which was not only creative, but also symbolic. So you kind of have to picture this: a chocolate smash cake topped with a full color edible illustration of a scientist, and he's conducting an experiment. He has two beakers, one in each hand. One is labeled with the CMS logo, one is labeled with Progressive Promotions, and he's pouring the contents into a central jar, and the combined ingredients form the Dryvve logo, representing the fusion of our two legacies into one bold, unified brand. But we didn't stop there. So we created this cake with this edible full color imagery on top. Each chocolate cake was filled with bright orange chocolate candies, which was a nod to the orange dot at the end of our logo. And each candy was detailed with a little D, which is our favicon logo. And so it turned every smash into this surprise reveal of thoughtful branding. To break open the cake, we included not only a gavel, but a golden gavel, of course. And the gavel was printed with a QR code that linked directly to our press release. And that allowed the recipients to smash, discover, and immediately dive into the why behind our transformation. And then to build anticipation, because we didn't want these boxes to ship to our clients and then have them open it before the rebrand. So we packed each cake in a custom box, and it was labeled "Do not open until January 22nd, 2024. And that small detail shared a moment of curiosity and excitement across our client base. And it turned our rebrand into a celebration that people really looked forward to and then took part in. We saw a lot of smashing across social media. And, it was just so much fun to engage our clients in that announcement.
Yeah, so that smash cake, that, and you reference it, award winning. So it won a Counselor Promo Campaign award from us for Best Distributor Self Promotion, and I'll be sure to include a link in the episode show notes for our listeners and our viewers to definitely check it out. It was ultra creative and just very, very, very unique.
Yeah, sounds super cool.
Thank you. It was great.
So before we wrap up with some tips and thoughts, a quick question about colors. So Sherry, how are the colors chosen for the new company and like the new name?
Well, speaking to bold, we wanted bold colors, and so we were looking at colors that complemented one another, colors and brands that we admired. We looked at color theory. We looked at, what is this color going to evoke when somebody looks at it? And I tried to show my background so we could show the logo, but if we can link to our website, we could show that logo. But it's a very bold orange and navy, and it just hits. It just speaks to our approach of, here we are, we're going to deliver above and beyond, and we're here, like, boom, it's in your face. So it's a lot of fun.
And for Bold Promo, how did you choose the yellow?
Yeah, a little bit the same for us. On top of that, it's my wife's favorite color, so
I don't think that was related.
I don't think it was related. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, obviously we had to pick the same very bold color, and also a very easy to print color, because we used to have an unprintable green neon color, and with advertising that will look very bad on any desktop printer, uncalibrated printer. So for sure, we tested a lot of shades of yellow that will print correctly, because yeah, that was a huge struggle for us on the invoices and everything. The old green of advertising was
yeah, even business cards, sometimes they would have trouble matching the Pantone color or things like this. So at least the yellow, we made sure it was a easy to print color.
It looks good on screen, but very tough to print. So we made sure the new color, the new branding will look good on as much material as possible. Yeah. So we picked yellow because
bold color.
Yeah.
A visual, strong color. You know, it was a color that was visually impacting and memorable and visual, you know, that you could see from far away at trade shows, for example. And
yeah, a simple process actually.
Fantastic. So having gone through this process, and here Victoria and Sylvan, we'll stay with you. Having gone through this process, what are the lessons you learned, and what's the advice you would give to others who might be thinking about doing the same?
That's more for you.
First one is be loud, and actually be louder than you think you need to be. A continuing process. You have to reintroduce yourself again and again and again. And as a supplier, we suggest to leave some elements of the former name. So people come back to you and they know, even if they're looking for you with the older name, they can come, you know, easily find you, and leave that for a while. Unfortunately, it does take a time. There is a transition, and it can't be a quick process. Distributors are bombarded with information. So rebranding or not, it's important to stay, you know, top of mind with them.
Okay. Fantastic. So Sherry, same question to you. What lessons and advice do you want to impart?
I would start with clearly define your goals and objectives for the rebrand. Conduct a lot of research, look at your target audience, analyze the competition, assess your current brand performance. You know, how are you doing and where do you want to be next year? Things like that. You know, rebranding involves rethinking your whole brand identity, your core values, your messaging. So advice that I would give is be prepared to deep dive and ask yourself difficult questions and really understand your company, understand the genesis, understand how it got to where it is. And that might mean asking difficult questions of leadership, but really understand what you're doing and what you're building. And then I would say maintain open communications with your clients and partners throughout the transition. Like Victoria and Sylvan said, be loud. We ensured our story was conveyed across multiple touch points, including email, social media, direct self-promo, and direct mail. So the most important thing is that nobody feels lost during the change.
Okay, great. Both these stories were great. I see a ton of commonalities between just purpose and visibility, right? And having a strong image that you want to convey. And so again, I hope our viewers and listeners can listen to the stories behind the rebrands of Dryvve and Bold Promo and take some great lessons for their perhaps own future rebrand. So let me give my thanks to Sherry, Victoria, and Sylvan. Thank you once again for your time today. Thank you everybody for listening and watching, and have a great rest of your week.